What if I did my entire review like this? I think that would get pretty freaking annoying, but apparently when this movie does it, it's comedy. For the record, I actually really like that scene. I just needed an intro for the video. So Zootopia is the newest Disney animated feature. It stars Jason Bateman and Ginnifer Goodwin. This movie at its heart is kind of a bunny cop film, but it's really just the story of a bunny who's told she can't be a police officer until she teams up with the fox in order to solve a crime and prove to the world that she's capable. And a lot of people are really enjoying this movie, and I had fun with it as well. I did have my issues though. I want to start off talking about the animation though, because that by far was my favorite part. This world was so detailed. It almost reminded me of Wreck-It Ralph in the way that there were always little Easter eggs popping up in the background that you had to keep an eye out for. There was animal puns and the different little animals that would run around and the different areas of the city they lived in. I had a lot of fun keeping an eye out for those, almost more than I did looking at what was in the front of the frames. I also loved the chemistry between these two characters. Jason Bateman did a wonderful job, as did Ginnifer Goodwin, and they had a great chemistry that I loved watching on screen. I loved watching these two characters grow together and the way they worked together and the jokes they played off of each other. It was really enjoyable and really believable as well. The story of this movie is very by the numbers. It's very cookie cutter, and a lot of people I talked to said they could predict the twist that happens near the end of the movie, but it's a kid's movie. That's kind of to be expected, and as long as you know what you're getting into, you can have a lot of fun with this movie. The problem I had with this movie, though, is that it's trying to say a lot, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Movies can have very strong messages, and this movie is very heavy-handed about it, and even that's not necessarily a bad thing. The problem I had with this movie is at times I felt like it almost contradicted its own message. The entire point of the movie, the main point, they make like 8 different points throughout this movie. Like I said, it's saying a lot, but the most overarching one is about stereotypes and the different kinds of animals, and it kind of relates to race and sexism in America and things like that. But they would make these jokes that the closest thing I can compare them to is the animal gags off of the Netflix show BoJack Horseman, if any of you have seen that, where these animals would be talking and walking around almost like a human, and then all of a sudden they would revert to being a basic animal for the sake of a joke. And I feel like that kind of contradicts the message a little bit. The whole movie is about not stereotyping these animals, but then they would use the animal stereotypes for humor. And that bothered me. Now I know that's a small nitpick, but it's something that bothered me, and I feel like I need to explain why I didn't like this movie as much, because when I came out of it, I was talking to my coworkers at the movie theater, and they were all saying, "Oh, hey, what'd you think of the movie?" I thought it was, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was okay. You didn't like it? I didn't say that. I didn't say I didn't like it. I liked the movie, but I just feel like I need to explain why I had some issues with this movie, and it wasn't exactly working for me. I think Disney accomplished what they wanted to accomplish perfectly, and that would explain its incredibly high Rotten Tomatoes score. I just had my nitpicks, and so at the end of the day, my final score is kind of my opinion, and that's why I'm only giving Zootopia a 3.4 out of 5. I do think Disney lovers will have fun with this movie, and I think families will have fun with this movie. Kids will love it, parents will love it. I just had some issues with it, but I still got a 3.4 out of 5. That's still fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and so I think you should definitely check this movie out and see what you think. As usual, all the links are below, and thanks for watching.